Powered by Virginia Radio.
Hello, and thank y'all for coming here. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for joining me. I really appreciate that. Y'all know me. My name is Big Al. I'm the HNIC. You're joining the podcast, Let Me Say Something, that's on Powered by Virginia Radio Network. Hello. Listen, we got a little something different today. I was talking to a really good friend of mine, and she's a lady that has gone through an awful lot, and she really is kind of my example of strength. Because the stuff that she's gone through, I don't know if I could go through it, but she was determined to get it done. Abusive situation, lost housing, has kids, and they had to do something, and she did what she had to do, and she and I we talked a lot, and I tried to help as much as I could, but once again, it was her journey. And she really is at the point now where she's starting to see the light. She finally has a place for the kids, etc. And she finally got the job that she's looking for, that she wanted. And and she and I were talking, and I think it's kind of appropriate simply because we're going into Christmas, but more important, but we're also going into the new year, man. I want everybody going to the new year, feeling prosperous, knowing that they can do it. I'm going through some stuff too. We all are. There's nobody that's watching this or hearing that's not going through something. It's a matter of not the degree of what you're going through. It's the degree of how you let it affect you. If you sit down and do nothing, then guess what? Nothing happens. And we're going to talk about that a little bit of talk about faith, a little bit talk about motivation. I'm going to give you some quotes from different people that I kind of like. And that motivates me. But listen, I want you to understand, and I said this last podcast and the previous podcast, is that you have inside you everything that it takes to be successful. You have inside you everything that it takes, everything that you need to overcome whatever issue that you have. It doesn't mean it won't be a struggle. Doesn't mean it won't hurt. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen overnight. But it's inside you. What you have to do is reach down and pull that out. And I sincerely mean that. You have to reach down and pull that out from within yourself. If you're not doing anything, then absolutely, I can guarantee if you don't do anything, nothing was going to happen. But if you're going through it, if you're taking a step towards it, trying to do a little something each and every day to get out of that situation or get into a better situation, eventually it's going to happen. And I just want you to understand that. It's inside you. God put it there. And listen, I have to find it for me. You have to find it for you. And it is definitely there. And no, I'm not a preacher or anything. I don't know anything about the Bible or anything like that. So no, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. But I do know that around the holidays, it gets tough, gets rough. Different holidays have been rough for me. It's been rough for you and others. And like I said, I want you to understand that it's inside you. You can pull yourself out of it, okay? And it's not going to be easy. Not supposed to be easy, but you gotta. I think the phrase goes, you gotta go in order to grow through it. You gotta go through it, and you come out better on the other side. I want to talk about a couple of things about when she and I talked. We were talking about faith, and basically the definition of faith from the Bible is that faith is the assurance of all things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. That's kind of deep. I read it one more time. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Basically what it means is that, at least what I think it means, is that you believe in something that hasn't happened yet, but you believe that it will happen. You believe that it's going to happen. And you keep believing it until you internalize it. You keep believing it until you actually feel like it is going to happen. And so what happens is you end up kind of working so that you start doing the things to make it happen. In other words, it's no more a hope. It's no more a dream. It's something that you're actually working towards doing. And you're doing that, and that's what's called faith, because you're doing it blind, not knowing if it's going to work or not knowing if it's going to get you where you need to be or not, but knowing that in order to get there, you have to do this. You have to go through this. You have to do A, B, C, and D, because the one thing that my mother used to tell me all the time, and my grandmother, and my father, everybody, all the old people in my family, God doesn't put you through more than what you can actually handle. He just doesn't, and I got to tell you, it is something, for a guy like me who listen, I've gone through the ringer. I've gone through some things, some more severe than others, some not as severe as some, but it was important to me. It was important to me, and there were times where I just didn't think it was going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to get out of this, but I did. And then you realize that whatever situation that you're in right now that is negative, that's bad, is that it's only temporary. Because you won't be in that situation a year from now. You won't be in a situation 3 months from now. It's only temporary. And believe me, you got to believe. You have got to believe and have that confidence. You've got to have that blind faith to know that I have the faith in myself. And for those of you that believe in God, to get beyond this and put this behind me. It's not supposed to be easy. It's never easy. Take it from me. It is never, ever easy. Okay? But once again, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. And when we talk about faith and prosperity, there's a number of things that people that have been said about it. Everybody seems to have an opinion on it. There are a couple of things I want to go over with you. I'm in talking about prosperity, and prosperity is a condition of being successful or thriving. And I was reading, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a guy called Reverend Ike. Back in the day, Reverend Ike was the man. And he was real flashy, etc. He was very over the top, as people would say. He had his hair fried, dyed, and slicked to the side. He had on the bright colored suits and all that, and he had a huge congregation in New York City. And he had also had a TV show. And I remember my grandmother putting in pennies to send to him. She put her pennies in. My grandmother didn't have any money at all. She had no money whatsoever, but she believed in Reverend Ike. And she put that money in. And I said, Grandma, why are you sending money to that man? He doesn't need that money. He's driving that big old car. She said, boy, shut up. She said, shut up. She said, that man understands me. He said, I believe that man. And what he preached was prosperity. And he preached it, and he believed it. He taught it, and he got kind of vilified for that. A lot of people hated him, didn't like him for that. He's not teaching the word of God, and one of the comments that he made is that, you can't lose with the stuff I use. Some may say money is the root of all evil, but being in poverty is a damn shame. The best thing you can do for the poor is not be one of them. God doesn't want you to have your pie in the sky by and by when you die. He wants you to have it now with a cherry on top. When he first said that, people went crazy. Both ways. People, his congregation and people that believe him went crazy. Like, yeah, that's the ticket. Others that were more secular, they felt he was preaching the wrong thing. I don't know. All I know is that we need prosperity now. All I know is that, we need prosperity. We need to believe and have faith that we can get there. Okay. I'm not sure what that was. Something just ran across the roof. Anyway, probably a squirrel. But we want to make sure. I just want you to understand that Let me start again. You don't have to understand. I'm just saying that belief in oneself is the ultimate belief that you have. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in anything else. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you. If you don't believe in yourself, there's nothing you can actually get done because you simply just don't believe. You just don't have the stuff that it takes to get from point A to point B. And remember what I said in the beginning. You have exactly what it takes to get there. You have what's inside you. You have the strength to do it. You have the fortitude to do it. You have the wisdom to do it. He put that in there inside you when you were born. You just have to reach in and pull it out. Some of us have to reach deeper than others, but it's there. It's there. Believe me, it's there. Now, as I said, we were talking about just to move on. We're going to go back and forth from faith to prosperity, prosperity and faith like that. We're going to move back and forth. The true meaning of prosperity, once again, is a condition of being successful or striving. Most people think of it as an economic well-being. Okay, it could be prosperity. It could be economic well-being. It could be a relationship well-being. It could be anything that you want it to be. That makes you feel like you're on the right track. That makes you feel good. Makes you feel like you've accomplished something. Okay. Now, as far as what God says about wealth and prosperity, command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. Interesting. So what this looks like the Bible is saying about wealth and prosperity is that it's not bad to have it, but once again, wealth is uncertain, comes and goes. Okay, but what does not come and go is God and your faith in God, because He will not lose His faith in you. Again, I'm not the expert, and I'm not a preacher. Okay, so when you don't call up saying you a preacher, but I am not. But if you want to call me, it's 757-964-9367, 757-964-9367. We're talking about faith. We're talking about prosperity. We want to open the year running, 2023. Okay, a lot of us are going to make it to 2023, which is a blessing, and everyone should count their blessings. Because as long as you are alive, as long as you wake up in the morning, there is no problem that you cannot solve. It's that other thing that happens when you don't wake up, when you can't solve a problem. And we don't want that to happen. So, but a couple other things too, other quotes here. One of them from Martin Luther King, which is, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And that's what we were talking about a little earlier. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just another one. Nothing is an obstacle unless you say it is. I'll repeat that. That's by Wally Amos. Nothing is an obstacle unless you say it is. And Wally Amos was the one that made the chocolate chip cookie, the famous Amos cookies. And he made, man, he was against all kinds of obstacles doing that. And this was what, 40 years ago when he did this. 40 years ago when he did, there was almost no black people that were doing what he was doing. Wally Amos was a black man that had a dream. He said he thought he had a great recipe for a cookie, and he started selling them. And then as he started selling them on the street, started selling them to his friends. Everybody said, man, this is a great cookie. You need to go and you need to market this, etc. He had no idea how to do any of that stuff. He had no idea, but he did it. He did it. He had no idea how to do that, but he did it. And we got famous Amos cookies, and which made him a millionaire many times over. You know, listen. He had faith. He's also motivated, and that which led to for him prosperity. You know, another saying here: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In other words, what happens outside, you cannot control. Some things are beyond your control. You can't control them. So why are you worrying about them? Why are you still worrying about how to control them? Why are you worrying about what happened? What the why is me, woe is me stuff? You can't control those things, but you can control what you think. You can control what direction your mind goes into. And when you say woe is me, that's what you're thinking. When you say why me, that's you thinking. That's you putting that in your head. And if you start thinking like that, well, guess what? It's not going to get you where you need to be. Now, I'm not saying don't ever say it, because it's going to be you're going to say it at some point, and when you do say it, shake it off. Shake it off. Like, okay. Why me? Why not me? Why not you? And then you go proceed to solve the issue, whatever that issue may be. Then you go after prosperity. You go after that problem that you're having, to solving that problem. Again, I didn't say it was easy. I'm not saying that at all, because I've been through it. And once again, my problems may not be your problems. My problem may be more severe, less severe than yours, but problems are problems. How big we make it is the issue. How big a problem are you making? Are you thinking that there's no hope? Are you thinking that you can't do it? Are you thinking that it's just not going to happen? Are you? And once again, that's what this show is about. We want to get you on your feet. We want to get your mind going in the right direction. We want to get you to heading towards the new year, in a proper frame of mind, ready to tackle the world, ready to tackle anything that comes at you. Once again, not going to be easy. Okay. Whatever situation that you have, you're not going to jump out of it tonight, tomorrow. I'm not saying that. But if you start, then you have a shot. You have a chance of taking care of that issue. You have a chance of solving that problem. You really do. Another one that I like is, no matter how many mistakes you make or how slow you progress, you are still way ahead of everyone who isn't trying. That was by Tony Robbins. I'll read that one again. I kind of like Tony Robbins. He's kind of a cliche now, but there was a time when Tony Robbins was the man, and he had stuff where you had to run across hot coals and everything. He had stuff that you had where you had to run. He had stuff where you had to how do you do? You ran across hot coals, and then you had to scream while you're doing that. Okay, which was kind of funny. But Tony Robbins was pretty cool. But it says, again, no matter how many mistakes you make or how slow you progress, you are still way ahead of everyone who isn't trying. I find that interesting. We want to get out there, and I want you to get out there to start a new year. I want you to start the new year off running. I want you to start the new year off with a positive frame of mind. Whatever goals that you set for yourself, I want you to write those down. I want you to achieve those goals. And don't give up on them. And don't get me wrong, man, I've written down goals 1,000 times, and I have gotten away from 1,000 times. The first week or two, month or two, I was good, and after that, the motivation ebbed away. It just went away. You know, as Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. That one was a good one. I like that. You know, Dr. King, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. That's something that's I love that one. I love that one. You know, do you really think there's a problem too big for you to handle? Do you really think there's an issue that's too tough, too difficult? I mean, because a lot of times we panic. You know, well, I'll speak for myself. Sometimes I panic. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I don't have enough money. I don't have this. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I got to pay this bill. Oh my God, what am I doing? You know, I don't want to get kicked out. I don't want to get kicked out of my house. Well, you know, a lot of us panic. I know. I've had a tendency to do that. Panic. Why? Because you get scared. You get scared. You imagine things that have not even happened yet. And when you imagine things that don't happen, you always imagine the worst. Am I right? You always imagine the worst thing that will happen. And 9 out of 10 times, the worst thing does not happen. 9 out of 10 times. I can surely attest to that. It just doesn't happen. But I'm scared that it might. I'm scared it's going to. And what that does is sometimes that freezes you. I know it's frozen me sometimes. Like, oh, what do I do? Oh my God. And then what happens? I stay awake at night, stressing. I'm a stress eater. So I'm nibbling when I shouldn't be nibbling. You know, I'm munching when I shouldn't be munching. I'm worrying when I shouldn't be worrying. You know, I'm staying awake at night when I should be and thinking about it. I mean, it consumes me. It just consumes me. Does it happen to you too? Does it happen to you? It just consumes me, and I can't seem to move forward because I'm thinking about what's going to happen, and nothing has happened as of yet. Instead of thinking about how to solve the problem, instead of thinking about how to deal with that, instead of thinking about getting it done, resolving the problem, I'm letting the problem stress me out. Because because of my stress, I haven't found an answer to it. And that's real. And that's real. That's real. Now, what I've tried to do lately is just relax and not let it get to me. Just relax, so I can think through my issues, and that's really been working for me. So I can sit down and think through my issues and figure out what I need to do, and go forward with that. Listen, it's not a hard. It's not a hard thing to. It's not an easy thing not to stress out, not to panic for some of you, because we handle stress differently. You know, I don't do a lot of yelling and screaming when I'm stressed. I just get quiet because I'm thinking, and I'm up inside my head. I'm up inside my own head trying to figure out what I need to do, trying to figure out what it is that I have to do, trying to figure out what it is that's going to happen if I don't do it. And I spend more time thinking about what's going to happen if I don't do it than if I do, if I figure it out. Stress. And again, by no means am I saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I will never say it's easy. I would never. It's something that you have to learn to do. It's something that you have to force yourself to do. not to stress, because it's so easy for us to stress. But if you're looking at this, then I know, or listening to it, then I know that you are someone that can handle whatever it is that's bothering you, whatever it is that you feel is an issue. I know you can. I know you can. I believe you can. You need to believe it too. And again, we're saying this because we want to start off. We want to start off the. Excuse me. We want to start off the year in a positive note. We want to start the year off, 2023, in a situation that's going to behoove us, that's going to benefit us. We want to start it off in a way that's going to be positive, so we understand what we're doing. So we understand that, hey, we got issues, but hey, we're the kind of people that make solutions. You're the kind of person that has solutions. Do something every single day to resolve it. Don't just do nothing. Don't just do nothing. You know, Karen Groker said that progress is rarely a straight line. There are always bumps in the road, but you can make the choice to keep looking ahead. And she's right. Progress is not a straight line. The answer that you're seeking is not in a straight line. It's not. There are going to be ups and downs, bumps in the road, however you want to describe it. You know, but you have to keep moving forward. Have to keep moving ahead. You know, please do not just stop. And yeah, you're going to get overwhelmed. It's going to happen. You're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to get overwhelmed. Okay, I conceded. I've done it. You're going to get overwhelmed. Take a breath. Take 2 or 3 breaths if you need it. But you need to relax. You need to get rid of that stress. So that when you go, you need to approach that problem from a different angle, with a different attitude, a calm attitude. I know you guys saying, Big Al, this is not the kind of show that you usually do. It really isn't. It really isn't. You know, but like I said, when I talked to my friend, and she's like a daughter to me, and I love her dearly. You know, she has gone through some stuff, and now she's getting to the point where it's getting easier for her. It's getting easier for her. She sees the light now, and she is without a doubt the strongest person I've ever met in my life. She's a little bitty thing too. But she's the strongest person I've met in my life, man. With the things that she's gone through from the beginning, from childhood up till now, very few people can actually handle that and keep the right mind. She's in a good her mind's in a good place. I won't mention her name because she'll kill me, but I won't mention her name. But she's probably watching this, and she knows who she is. Like I said, she's like a daughter to me, and I care about her very much. And I'm so proud of her for working through her problem. And it took her a while. I mean, it took almost a year. And she just kept going and kept going. Not that there weren't any setbacks. There were. Not that she didn't cry. She did. Not that she didn't wonder what the heck she did. You know, she has kids. They were first on her mind. But you know what? Her kids saw her bounce back. Her children saw her become the woman that she is. Her children saw her gain strength and courage. And that young lady, and she's a lot younger than I am, I learn from her every time I'm with her. I learn something from her. I learn something from her. She doesn't do a lot of yelling and screaming. She's kind of she's a thinker. It doesn't mean that it hasn't been overwhelming. It doesn't mean that she wants to go through it again. It just means that she's glad to be on the other side of it. Some of you are like that, going through something right now, wondering where the other side is. When do I get there? How do I get there? I can't answer those questions for you. I don't have those answers. I can only tell you that you will get there. As long as you're going one step at a time, as long as you're going every day to do something towards it. As long as you know what the problem is and you're solving the problem. And you make an attempt to resolve the problem. There's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that you can't do. You have it all inside you. You really do. And I know I sound very cliche. I really do. I sound very cliche. I know I do. I know I do. And I don't mean to, but I've just talked to too many people over the years that have given up. I had a friend of mine, he was my best friend years ago who committed suicide because he did something he felt he couldn't resolve, he couldn't come back from. He was my best friend in the world. And when he killed himself, I felt like something inside me died too. And I could never understand why he did that. I couldn't understand it. I still don't. He was the last person I thought would do that to. But if it happened to him, it happened to me. And I had to start thinking differently. Or learn to start thinking differently. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith to know that, hey, the path that I'm taking is going to work. If it doesn't, you have to find another path. But whatever you're going through right now, today, this very moment, is only temporary. You will bounce back from it. You will be better because of it. Without question. Without question, you'll be better. And you're saying, Big Al, how you know that, man? Big Al, you don't know what I'm going through. I don't know what you're going through. Nor is it my business. I just know that I've seen some people over the last 2-3 years go through things that no one should have to go through. And they all got through it. They went through. They just grew right through it. I admire them greatly. They taught me something. They taught me to stop complaining. They taught me to stop blaming others. They taught me to stop being hard on myself. They taught me to find the answer and solve the problem. And believe me, solving a problem is a difficult thing. There are certain things I had to do to solve the problem that I didn't want to do. Certain people I had to talk to, certain calls had to be made. I didn't want to do it, but I had to. I had to swallow my fear. And a lot of times things aren't resolved because stress turns into fear. And fear turns into a paralyzing condition where you don't do anything. Again, I want to understand. This is something that we want to make sure, this is something going into New Year. I want you to change your attitude. I want you to improve. I want you to do the things that you want to do and know that you can do them because you can. Because you can. So if I'm sounding too dire, I do apologize about that. I don't mean to sound dire or down. That's not what I'm trying to do. That's not what I'm trying to do. Okay? But I'm just kind of thinking about some of the stuff that I went through, and it's like, wow, you did that. And some of the other things that some of the other people went through, You know, a lot of them a lot tougher and worse than what I went through. As I said, the young lady I think of as a daughter, she went through some hell. But again, there's no reason why you can't get it done. And you know, another saying, you know, it's funny. It's funny when you start reading about things that are prosperity, or reading about things that are positive things, etc. You know, you get the same people that really are some of them are very successful, some of them not, but very positive people that are saying certain things that they learn and impart them on you and I. And it's interesting. Here's one thing: when everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. That made me chuckle. But that was Henry Ford. You know, when everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. That's interesting. So, and he said that about 100 years ago. You know, almost. Listen. Let me put this stuff away and just talk. You and I have a conversation. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to tell you how to do it. I'm just telling you that there's a new year approaching. Okay? Everybody wants to do something for the new year. And what I'm saying is the best thing you can do for the new year. The best thing you can do for the new year is get a positive attitude. If you have a positive attitude, get a more positive attitude. If you have a situation or issue, deal with it. Attack it. Because it's not, don't let it overwhelm you. Don't let it defeat you. Don't let it beat you. I don't want you to lay down. I want you to be a fighter. I want you to fight this. I want you to work through this. I want you to think through this. I want you to reach down deep inside and pull out that intestinal fortitude that God gave you. I want you to pull out that strength that he gave you. I want you to reach down there and grab it and pull it out. And then I want you to use it. I want you to use it. I want you to take it and use it and just go and attack it. Attack it just like someone's attacking you. Fight back just like you would fight back if someone's attacking you. Because you're the answer. You're the answer. You are the answer. And there's absolutely no reason for you to be defeated. And I mean that. And I truly mean that. And it's how I live my own life. Don't think I got it easy. Don't think it's smooth sailing over here. It ain't. It's not smooth sailing. I got issues right now I got to deal with. But I can't let it defeat me. It'll get me down sometimes. Don't get me wrong. It'll get me down sometimes. You know, it'll stress me out every once in a while. But I have to push through it. I have to push through that. And so can you. Listen, I want you to start off the year right. I want you to start off the year prosperous. I want you to start off the year motivated. I want you to have faith in yourself. Faith that you're doing the right thing. I want you to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you get to where you want to be. You know, all of us, you, me, everybody else, we're going to do that for 2023. We're going to push through for 2023. And whatever goals we set for ourselves, we're going to achieve those goals. Whatever problem that we have in front of us, we're going to overcome those problems. We're going to climb that mountain and just take that and just climb right over, walk right through those issues and those problems. This time, this year that's coming, we're going to make the most of it. We're going to do the most. We're going to make sure that we're doing what we can to be the best that we can. You got it in you. Because God don't make no junk. He doesn't. And he made you. And you know you ain't no junk. You know that. You know that. Well, listen, I've done enough talking. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. And listen, I want to thank y'all for stopping by. My audio engineer isn't here, so we may not go off right away, but he'll be back to turn it off. So, well, listen, I want to thank y'all for stopping by. I want to thank y'all for giving me a listen. I really, really, truly appreciate it. And listen, and remember, my name is Big Al. The podcast is Let Me Say Something. Listen, y'all have a great end of 2022, because I'm not going to be here next Friday, which is the eve of Christmas Eve. Though I may be back the next Friday. I'll be back the next Friday. Yeah, okay, going into the new year. Listen, thank y'all. Y'all take care. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful holiday. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your family. Stay safe. And remember, I love you guys for stopping by. Okay? And we're all in this together. We really are. All right? Y'all take care. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Powered by Virginia Radio.